Part of the problem is the ground itself. You see, as we get warmer temps, it starts to shift. And erasing graffiti for good. But only 1% of those background checks are actually rejected.
Is it going to take someone else dying in a fire to get fire hydrants in that area?
This is the chain where that pit bull was being kept, but as you can see, it broke and that dog broke loose and went on to kill Anastasia Bingham. It's a race against time to bring the color of justice to families still crying out for answers.
The snow is falling. I'm pretty happy because I didn't want to wear my snow boots for nothing. We're here in the heart of Crystal Springs. You can see there are some teenagers that kind of got in the parking lot here. They wanted to come see the snow for themselves.
You see, these blue dots represent all the officers that qualify for higher positions. That's about 300 in the department. A tropical storm is making its way toward Mississippi right now. So I went through the addresses for all the sex offenders in the Jackson area and found the zip code with the highest concentration. Turns out it's 39209. 2 days without sales tax revenue may further the already disappointing slump.
It couldn't be that bad, right?
As you can see, the Saints fans are fired up. They are ready to see their superheroes in this Saints parade coming up tonight at 9. We'll hear from some Mississippi folks who are here to see the parade. Reporting in New Orleans, Jessica Larche, Fox 40 News.
The debris, the damage here in Hazelhurst off Monticello Road is devastating. You can see this barn completely leveled, big pieces of wood, trees uprooted everywhere near this home. But the people who live here say this disaster pales in comparison to what could have happened.
My goodness, the Lord was watching over us last night.
In the middle of the night, a tornado turned the world around Vicki Ramsey upside down in less than 90 seconds.
Our house just kind of trembled we could feel it, you know, from within. It was like the walls were shaking.
Whipping winds and a weather radio sent Ramsey and her husband to a closet for refuge. But when they emerged, the view from their front porch would never be the same.
Everything around us shows evidence of the damage, and yet our house is standing and we're fine.
The fact that their home was spared has a special meaning.
Because I know what real loss is.
More about that loss in a moment, but take a look at this. The barn they used for their small cattle business is crushed. Up and down their street, neighbors have a similar scene. Trees uprooted, debris tossed hundreds of feet away, businesses damaged.
And I think we were real lucky on this tornado.
Copiah County Emergency Management Director Randall Drain has been up all night assessing the damage from the 500-yard wide tornado.
Some minor damage to some homes, a couple of barns were destroyed, a lot of trees damaged.
But for the Ramseys, the damage from this tornado can't touch what they've been through years before.
10 years ago, our original home here that was an old 100-year-old home burned to the ground.
So the Ramseys rebuilt, and while tattered remains surround them now, their foundation is untouched. Would you say this tornado compares to the fire?
No. We're all safe and all our neighbors are safe. No one was hurt. So we have a lot to be thankful for today.
And just as this piece of tin debris surrounding all the wood and all the devastation here at the Ramseys' home, the people in Hazelhurst are just happy that a higher power was surrounding them during this devastating tornado. Reporting in Copiah County, I'm Jessica Larche, Fox 40 News at 9.
5, 6, tap your left right here.
This isn't your mama's old aerobics class. Chris Jones is taking the fast jumping, high stepping, smooth moves from black college bands, from the grass to the gym.
There's nobody else has ever done it.
Jones's March Aerobics puts a special swagger on sweating off the pounds, but don't let all the fun fool you. This class is no walk in the park.
And they always say to me, well, Mr. Chris, you're going to kill me. No, I'm not. You're killing yourself by not doing something about what you're doing right now.
For nearly a decade, Jones has done his part to turn around Mississippi's infamous claim to obesity.
People are dying out from obesity, from diabetes, from hypertension, from heart problems, and they're dying at a younger rate.
So in 2 days, he'll be doing this and that from Saturday morning to Sunday morning, 26 hours straight, all to drive home one important point.
You know, with the Guinness Book, You know, doing the 26 hours, I'm dedicating my body and putting my body on the line to prove a point that there are just not negative things in Mississippi.
Now, all of this looked a little too fun. Here we go. So I had to see if I could hang with Chris. It couldn't be that bad, right? All jokes aside, Jones says there's nothing more serious than stomping out obesity.
We need to get out there and attack this situation. This just cannot be done by me.
And while Jones is on the brink of breaking his own record, he hopes his passion for fitness will help others push poor health habits aside.
I'm trying to open eyes, and I'm going to open eyes and let people know that, hey, we can do this together.
Now, Chris Jones will start his marathon this Saturday at 6 a.m. and it'll last till Sunday at 8 a.m. And just for the record, Kathy, I usually last a little longer than that, but you know, I worked all day. I was really tired, so that's my excuse. Kathy.
Barbara Ramsey is scared to go to sleep in her home on Wright Drive and Flora Street.
I've been in that house 9 years. For 9 years, no fire hydrant.
6 years ago, her fear became reality.
It was just blazing.
A fire ripped through her 90-year-old neighbor's house, George Wright. When firefighters got to the street, they couldn't find any hydrants. By the time they found a working hydrant hundreds of feet away, it was too late. George Wright was dead. Only an empty lot remains.
He burned up in the house.
Fast forward 6 years, one thing has changed. More scorched houses near Ramsey's home.
I don't sleep at night. I'm up trying to see what's going to be set afire again.
Year after year, Ramsey and her neighbors have been calling and meeting with the fire and public works departments, crying for help. She walked me through street after street, no hydrants.
There's no hydrant on Dale Street.
Nope. How did they skip over us and not put any down?
Ramsey says last fall, Public Works Director Thelman Boyd met with her neighborhood. She says he promised to install a hydrant by the 1st of January.
We got promises, and nobody showed up.
So I started looking for other hydrant holes in the city. First, pouring through 200 pages of hydrant locations, then a map. The little red dots represent fire hydrants, and there it was, a city-annexed area in the northwest corner, not one single hydrant marker.
So I came straight to the annexed portion of Jackson off West County Line Road and Cynthia Road, armed with my papers and papers of fire hydrants. And we drove around for miles and miles, and there is not one. And taxpayers say their life is on the line.
No fire hydrants. If the house catches fire, we just gone.
Willie Rogers has been living on Cynthia Drive for 19 years, and for the last two,
you know, since we started paying taxes,
he's been paying taxes to the city of Jackson after it was annexed from Hinds County. He says there are no water lines, no sewage, no street lights, and no hydrants.
We're paying the taxes, why can't we get service from the city?
Rogers and Ramsey on two different sides of the city, but at the center of one hot-button issue. Here's a breakdown of the hydrant holdup. It's the fire department's responsibility to inspect hydrants and report areas where they're missing. Then it's up to the Public Works Department to install the hydrants. Jackson Fire Department spokesman Chief R.D. Simpson says they've turned over the list of areas in need more than once.
Well, in our business, seconds are eternities. Of course, there's a danger because if there's not any fire hydrants over there, it would be difficult for us to perform our job.
To get answers, I went straight to Public Works Director Thelman Boyd. Is it going to take someone else dying in a fire to get fire hydrants in that area?
We are in the process of installing a fire hydrant in that location so they will have sufficient fire protection.
Ramsey and her neighbors say they saw Public Works on Flora Street and Wright Drive just before Christmas last year, marking the street, blue lines for water and green lines for sewage. 3 months later, just lines, no hydrants.
Well, we hope to have a fire hydrant in that location in the next 30 days.
Boyd says the expensive part is replacing smaller water lines with 8-inch lines for better pressure all over the city. It costs millions, and he says that's the reason for the 6-year holdup in Georgetown. But back in the annexed area, Boyd admits
there are no fire hydrants located there. We have a 5-year plan as funding become available to extend fire hydrants to those annexed areas.
5 years, Willie Rogers says he'll live in fear.
It's hard to get somebody out here, and that makes a person feel real scary.
A scary reality Ramsey says she's willing to see through until she can sleep at night.
And I am going to stick it out. I'm determined.
Now, Public Works Director Thelman Boyd tells me there will be a hydrant on Miss Ramsey Street in 30 days, and that's exactly where I'll be to see if that promise is kept.
This locator marker for a working fire hydrant here on the corner of Hollingsworth and Flora Street, just 2 blocks from Miss Ramsey's home. Now, we told you that we would be back here in this neighborhood in a month from when our investigation aired, and as you can see, progress is being made.
I never thought I would see it as quick as it has come, and it's all because of what Fox 40 did.